With about 93.25% of the vote in Colombia, it looks like Ivan Duque, the war candidate, is going to be the next president of Colombia. More than likely, what this is going to mean is a complete renunciation of the peace deal with the FARC and the ELN rearming. They have held up their end of the bargain so far, and when they called a ceasefire for the elections, and not one thing has happened, although the government has attacked and killed 14 people during that time. The ELN has done nothing. This guy, Petro, did a whole lot better than people thought he was going to do. 41% for a guy who used to operate with the FARC. But we'll see what the future holds. I kind of was wondering if maybe this was the event that everyone was waiting for down there before they did something about Venezuela. They didn't want Colombia in the middle of an election or changing over during a operation. But Mr. Duque has quite a history. Basically, what he has stated is that the ELN basically has to surrender and pretty much just put themselves in prison or make themselves targets before he'll even think about not attacking them. It's the FARC did this twice, and both times they did this when the government asked them to. Most of their guys wound up dead, unarmed and dead. But like I said, Mr. Duque has a history. It's not that history repeats itself, but it rhymes. His father was involved in a situation much like we're seeing with the Hidroituango Dam. In case anybody doesn't know what that is, it's where I'm sure if you're here you do, but I'll just reiterate it just to say we did. This dam, because of corruption and because of people trying to save money, basically was not put together in a way that was safe, and because of just a little bit of extra rain and some poor engineering, it is in a state of slow collapse, and the people living downstream from it basically have to live their lives in terror now. We've seen the videos. We've seen, what the government has said about this. They've allowed 14,000 people to go back to their homes, but because of the huge pressure on the mountain created by this dam, which people tried to warn of, it's in a continual state of just basically slow collapse and tremor. But Mr. Duque's father presided over a tragedy much like this. It was a story called Armero, where there was a river that had gotten blocked by a volcano had exploded, and river of debris and crap came down the side of the mountain and blocked a river, caused a huge backup, and they were warning that they should evacuate the towns below it. But they said, no, just shelter in place. Well, the volcano blew again, and when it blew this time, it sent that big backup down through the valley and killed 25,000 people. This was November 13th, 1985. It was the largest loss of life in a natural disaster ever in the history of Colombia. And that was Mr. Duque's father that allowed that to happen. Ivan Duque Escobar was his name. And now we're looking at this. So it's going to be an interesting summer, that's for sure, especially with what's happening in Mexico very shortly. They're going to be electing a new president. Mr. Duque also was a peon of this guy, Alvaro Uribe, who is widely seen now as probably the single most corrupt president that Colombia ever had. I mean, bar none. He was in the pocket of the drug cartels, and he is actually facing extradition. In fact, that was part of the election cycle now. Gustavo Petro said that he would not allow Alvaro Uribe to be extradited, that they would prosecute him in Colombia. So it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when this guy goes to prison. See, they have swamp problems of their own down there. They really do. And it's kind of the, I don't know what the word is for it down there. Every single country in South and Latin America is doing this cleaning house. It has to do with the Odebrecht scandal and the Panama Papers. The guy in Brazil who is currently leading in their election polls is in prison. You can take every other person. His name is Lula da Silva. And he is by far the most popular candidate, and he is currently serving, I think it's 12 years or 14 years in prison. In fact, he's so popular that you could take everybody else running and combine their popularity, and it's still not as popular as that guy. So it's just a strange thing going on down there with what's happening with their politics. Pretty much everybody has their hand involved in the drug trade one way or the other, but this guy is an extra special helping of terrible. And the globalists, for now, have won. They lost Venezuela, but they definitely won Colombia. And so now we have the stage set for what's probably going to be a kickoff of the first real war in this hemisphere. Shooting war. So we'll leave it there. It looks like it's pretty much over here. 96.99% in. 18.6 million votes. 54.07% for Mr. Duque and 41% for Mr. Petro. So just wanted to keep you guys updated on that. Not waste a whole bunch more of your Sunday. We'll let you know if anything changes. I doubt anything's going to, but you guys have a great week, and like, share, subscribe.